It's a little demo and walkthrough of my portfolio content management system. So it was made for a level 4 course in full stack development. And what I've done is I've basically made full stack application. So it's got an API, serves the front end, and that front end is being statically served by Express. And then it's just basically retrieving data from that and making API calls to update data on my dashboard page. So first off, I'll just start with the publicly visible stuff. So there's two parts to the site. There's publicly visible stuff, and then there's a dashboard that only users can log into, and only users can also create other users. It's meant as a closed system of a content management system. So you only want trusted people to be able to do anything. So general users, you'll see this. At the moment, I've only got one project on there, so I need to add a lot more projects in, but you'll see a little preview of it. It's set so that this text will not overflow, and it will basically just go into here and stay within the pane. So you only get a preview of it, but then the actual post, if you click on it, it will take you and you'll see the whole thing. So this is only a short post I made just to demo it, but you can, well, I can add as much text in there as I want. So you can, this is just featured ones, so I can set them to featured. I'll show on the dashboard how I actually do that. There's also a projects page which shows all of them. So this is every single project, it's just for one. And there's a tag filter. What I'll do is when I add a couple more in on the dashboard demo, we'll come back to this and see how that tag filter is affecting it. But that's just using the backend API, and that is filtering the tags that use the junction table to associate tag IDs to post IDs. So let's have a look at how the dashboard works. So first thing I'll do is I will choose Postman. So I will create a new user. It's an authenticated route, so there is an authorization header in here, the bearer token, and I need to change that to still my test environment set up. So I will basically call the API I'll post it to create a user. If I try to do this unauthenticated, which I can show afterwards, it would give me an error because, as I say, I only want registered users to be able to sign up new users. Otherwise, you're giving access out to everyone to be able to change your CMS. So we'll just set that. And that has responded with the details of the user, obviously minus the password hash. That's told me the user has been created. So now I've got that user set up, what I'll do is I will just post I could just post a login here just to show you that it will with the exact same users. That's because I'm posting there, not to auth. I post to auth, and this is all my all the fetch is doing in the front end is it's just posting that, and it gets a token back along with user details, again minus the password hash. Basically details that it wants to add into session storage. So what I'll do is I will just go here and we'll navigate to the login. So by default, there's no link for login page. You have to know it. I know it's login.html. I mean, it's predictable, but I didn't feel like there's any need to add a link to it when it's a private page that only I should be using. What I'll do is, rather than my own details, I will enter the details of that user. So any user can edit everything on the page. But the idea is you just got a closed system of users, typically just me. I'm not going to set anyone else up, it's my own portfolio. So you can see I've now logged in and I'm on the dashboard. If I try to access the dashboard, so let's just open up an incognito window. If I try to open up the dashboard without the token stored in session data, then it will just push me back to the page. It also has an authentication check. Anytime I try to use an authenticated route, so if I try to add a post, edit a post, delete a post, if the server returns an authorization error, it will delete my session data and it will kick me back to the main page. So it just enforces a logout. So not only will the API enforce that only authenticated users can do things, it also enforces that if you try and do anything and that's detected you shouldn't be doing it, it will kick you out. So it's just an extra level of safety. So what I can do is actually just inspect. And we'll have a look at the data. So we can see session data is just storing an auth token. So that's my token that it uses for all the API calls. So do the whole thing. And the user data. So that's just my ID, which is a UUID, and the name. So this page, if I click on something, it will take me to an edit modal rather than taking me onto the project. So I can click on this and it's opened up an edit modal. So this is a modal that I made. It's using just JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. I didn't want to use a Bootstrap modal because that comes with all the overhead of having, to be honest, a bit of a nightmare and actually restyling it all. I'd rather just make it myself, especially for something so custom like this of all of the fields I wanted. So you'll see there's a whole load of things on here. So there's a title of the project, there's the tags, so you can see C# has been selected there. There's featured, which is how I put it onto the main page because that adds a featured, that sets a featured column for that row in the database. And then the front page is requesting any posts that are featured. So I'm going to show you on Postman. This was from my test page. So that one would get any tags with ID 4 and 5. This one would get any featured ones. So that's just for call, see, with a different thing, but same suffix to the URL. This part of it is how I am guessing any featured things. That's the exact call that the front end is using. That's unprotected. Anything get is unprotected, but it's only the update, delete, and creation routes that are authenticated. So I can also add tags. So at the moment, there's not any other tags. What I'll do is I'll come back to that on the example where I'm going to add something in. I can also choose an image for it. So if I choose an image and then click on upload, and it will send it off to my, so it sends it off to the API, so it just uses form data for that. It's just another fetch really. And then my API uses a cloud server to host my images for me. And that image here, Cloudberry, is what comes back. So this comes back from the API call to upload. And then this is stored in the database, so it knows where, well, it'll just have an image and set the source to this link that's in here. And that will change. So this is non-editable, it's read-only, but that link will change, URL will change when I upload a new image, and that's returned from the API. And here I can just put whatever text in there. So I don't know what else I want to say about this. Let's just say using C# def nodes. I believe that's what it's short for. So I can just save that. So you'll see as well on edit, there's also a delete button. I'll come back to that and show it another one where I'll actually want to delete it. So there's also a cancel. Cancel will just, as it says, cancel the changes, save and close. And that has now updated here, showing that I have updated the text. And then the, actually it's mentioned is it's in, this is just doing inner HTML. So I think I'll actually have to do that if I want to put spaces in. So I've left it as that. One of the thoughts in the future is I might change it to use Markdown and then use a Markdown to HTML converter on the front end. So it's all client side rather than server side trying to deal with that conversion. But that's something for the future I might want to look into. As it's only me editing it, I'm perfectly comfortable with writing HTML if I feel like it needs any more styling to it. And it also, say, it pulls through your tags and images and everything else from that. So that's what I can do on here. There is a search bar which I haven't implemented yet. That's on my to-do list, but it's only really on, well, it's only on the dashboard page, and it's not really needed just yet. So I figured I will just get the content made, and then if I feel I actually need a search bar to edit stuff after that, I can do it. So if I want to create a new post, I will just click on create post, and naturally the delete button isn't on here. So let's just make a new title. Let's just call this a new project. I will delete these ones after. So then I will add a tag. So at the moment there's only C# available. I think that's actually a bug I've just realised I need to work out. Left C# ticked. I thought I had it clearing, but I guess I must have left one line in, but I can put that on my issue tracker. I mean, it's only for internal stuff anyway, because this modal is only used on my dashboard, so it's not public facing. So let's say this project, let's say this one's using React and JavaScript. Well, React is JavaScript. So I don't have those yet. So if I start typing and it doesn't find a tag, it gives me the new tag option, and it will then fill it in there. That hasn't created a tag in the database. I don't want to have just orphan tags lying around. So what it does is it only creates the tag in the database when I hit save. If I hit cancel or if I get rid of it, it's gone. It's not saved anywhere. It's not in my database. So the database only has tags that have at some point actually been used on at least one project. So similarly, I can just add one for JavaScript. Load. And that has added that in. If I wanted to get rid of it, it's as simple as just clicking X and I can add it back in. It also shouldn't let you add duplicates. So if I try and do it again, it will just leave it as is. So the next thing to look at is the repository link. So this does need to be filled in. I'm just going to put this as Google image. So what I'll do is I will just choose to upload an image, and let's just put whatever file on here. I'll just put my whole portfolio. So that's just selected it in the choose image. So now I need to upload, and that is filled in. I will potentially put some kind of loading bar in there to give you a bit more of an update, but at the moment I'm happy enough with how that works. So that's that. Then in the content, I can just type whatever I want. So this is a project made using and yeah, I've actually made it, but just an example. So then I can I'll tick featured and then I'll save and close. So now if I open up the main page, I'm just going to open it in a new link. That's now on the featured page. It's got that image I uploaded. It's got the tags I selected. If I want to go back and change it, it's as simple as actually maybe I want another tag on it. Maybe it's, I don't know, got some kind of tag. See, tags are going to be meaningful, but I can't think of what else I'd put on a hypothetical project I'm adding. And let's say that I maybe wanted to actually unfeature it. So I'll just untick that, save and close, refresh this page. It's now no longer featured. But if I go onto the projects page, it's on here, and I can filter. So you'll see all of the tags I've been using are now there. So if I filter for C#, it will only have that. It's an inclusive filter, so if I filter for C# and JavaScript, it will show both. If I filter for just JavaScript, it will just show that. Similarly, if I had more JavaScript projects, so it's just a handy way that anyone can see the projects. I'm especially thinking if any, say, recruiters look at the project or look at the portfolio, they can see what's relevant to what they're looking to recruit for. And they can also get an idea just in general of what kind of stuff I've been working on, what technologies I've been learning. But I wanted to have a featured stuff here so I can really show off the kind of flagship things that I think kind of highlight my skills best. So then I have added that. So what I'll do is let's just delete it. So as usual, click on here. So I've noticed as well, there's the exact same filter on here, but that filter, I've made it only load tags on page refresh because it shouldn't be updating too often. So I'll just need to refresh my page. And I can now refilter if I wish to. So this is how I can find stuff easily myself as well on the edit page. So the edit page is essentially just a projects page, but with a little bit more stuff added in for me. So if I wanted to find just JavaScript stuff, I can filter for that. I can click onto it, and it's still the exact same thing as before. It's still got the exact same tags as before. But maybe I don't actually want this project on here because it's just a dummy project. I don't really want it. I don't want it to be there permanently. So I click on delete post. I put it on here so it will require a double click within 5 seconds. So you see, if I click on it once, changes, click again to delete. A nice warning symbol, it's nice and loud, a little bit out of the way in red. But then if I leave it for 5 seconds, it does nothing. And that's just to kind of prevent accidental deletion. So if I really want to delete it, I've got to purposely click on it again, and it's gone. So then if I just unfilter, I've only got this. Refresh the main page, but feature project is still there because that's the only featured one I've selected, as you see from this. And then in projects, I've only got this one left. And then when you click on it, it just takes you to the project with that ID. So that's how it all works. Thanks for watching.